Good morning. Today is the second day that we switch from Barekh Alenu to Barekhenu, and the main subject for today is two things. If a person forgot, he knows that he forgot and he did not say Barekh Alenu, or what happens when a person has a doubt. We will share all the details, and therefore I recommend, if you want to have a Sidur next to you in order to follow, to see exactly the stops. There are many details about it. It's beautiful to know, the information. Then you learn it once, as we do like everything else. You learn it well once, you understand the concept, and you know it for life. So have a sidur. If you feel like you know the tefillah by heart, no problem. You can concentrate knowing it by heart, like you see it in front of you, or even without having the sidur. By imagination, it's fine. You can. I still recommend to take a pen and a paper and take some notes, because it's just it's not so sophisticated, but it's a lot of details. Okay, so let's start. We are saying that a person, after he finishes Refa'enu Hashem, Baruch Atah Hashem Rofe'u Le'amu Yisrael, he has to say, instead of Barechenu Hashem Elokeinu B'chol Ma'aseh Yadenu, he has to say the paragraph that speaks about the winter. And the most important part about that paragraph is the words V'ten talu matar livracha. So a person, he prays Baruch Atah Hashem Rofe'u Le'amu Yisrael, and he forgot. He continues Barechenu Hashem Elokeinu, which is the text of the summer. No good. He needs to say the other text, but he continues and he continues and he continues. All of a sudden he remembers he's in the middle of the baracha. In such a scenario, no problem. He goes back. He just simply stops and he starts again Barekh Alenu. He skips to the next paragraph, which is the long one for the winter, and he says Barekh Alenu. He says Barekh Alenu. He fixed it. Now, what happens when a person gets to Baruch Atah, and then he says Shem Hashem right at the end of every long blessing? At the end we have Baruch Atah Hashem Ha'el HaKadosh, Baruch Atah Hashem Honen Adat, Baruch Atah Hashem Rofe'u Le'amu Yisrael. Here we have Baruch Atah Hashem Mevarech Hashanim. So he said, until he said, and you can write it down, until he said Baruch Atah, he didn't say the name of Hashem. He could still just stop right there and go to Barekh Alenu, just skip to the next paragraph, which is Barekh Alenu, and he is good. But the moment he said Shem Hashem, he said the name of God in a form of a blessing, Baruch Atah Hashem. Now he doesn't want to continue because it's the wrong blessing for Hashem. But he can't just stop because he said Baruch Atah Hashem. He's stuck in the middle. So here we learn a general rule. A general like that has to do even if I'm in the kitchen and I took an apple and I say Baruch Atah Hashem. All of a sudden, I just ate dates. And the dates are Borei Periyayitz. The apples are also Borei Periyayitz. And I'm not supposed to make another blessings for the apple. So I said, Baruch Atah Hashem, I'm not supposed to say anything. I'm not supposed to talk. Lamedeni hukecha. I say these two words. Lamedeni hukecha. What did I do now? How did I fix what I did? So Baruch Atah Adonai Lamedeni hukecha is actually a pasuk in the Tehillim. And therefore, when I say just Baruch Atah Adonai Lamedeni hukecha, I said a pasuk. So now, if I am holding the apple and I want to make Borei Periyayitz, and all of a sudden after, if I said Baruch Atah, I just stop. I didn't say Hashem's name. I didn't say anything. So I stop. I made beracha, no problem. I eat the apple. I don't do anything. The moment I said Baruch Atah Hashem, now I have a problem. I can't continue Borei Periyayitz because I don't need to say the blessing. I already said it on the dates, as we said. So what do? I said Lamedeni hukecha. And that way, I just said a pasuk. Imagine I walk around my house, I walk on the street, and I say Baruch Atah Adonai Lamedeni hukecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Lamedeni hukecha. Say it as much as you want. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. And it's a blessing for Hashem. No problem. You can say it all day long. No problem. Now the problem starts. So now, going back to our topic, if I'm about to say Baruch Atah Hashem, Baruch Atah Adonai Mevarech Hashanim, but I remembered, I said Shem Hashem. I don't want to say Mevarech Hashanim because it's not the right blessings. I said Barechenu, I said the summer paragraph, and I need to say the winter paragraph. So what do I do here in the middle of Shmona Esrei? Baruch Atah Hashem, I remembered, Lamedeni Hukecha. I said a pasuk in the middle of my tefillah. In the middle of the tefillah, we are allowed to say other stuff that are not part of the text, like in Refa'enu, the blessings for refuah, for health. We're allowed to pray for people and so on. So here, it's not the best because it's like out of nowhere. Why are you saying a pasuk that doesn't have? I can understand when you ask in a blessing that has to do, you want somebody to be healthy and you add a few words in health blessing. I can understand. But here, of course, we don't favor it, but nevertheless, a person made a mistake. In order for him to have to fix the situation, we are telling him, you said Baruch Atah Adonai, continue Lamedeni Hukecha. And then what do you do then? Then he goes to the next paragraph, Barekh Alenu, and he continues his tefillah. Now what happens, and this is number 3 already. We said that if he's in the middle of Barekh Alenu before he said until Baruch Atah, no problem. He just stops, he goes to the next paragraph. He said Baruch Atah Hashem, now he has a problem, he has to finish Lamedeni Hukecha. He can't just continue. In order to have a pasuk, Baruch Atah Hashem, he closes it as a pasuk, then he goes to the next paragraph and he continues his tefillah. But what happens if he said Baruch Atah Hashem mevarech, and then he remembered? If he remembered, then there is no pasuk in now he can't fix it because there is no pasuk in Tehillim that says Baruch Atah Hashem mevarech lamedeni hukecha. No, there is no. There is Baruch Atah Adonai lamedeni hukecha. There is no Baruch Atah Adonai mevarech lamedeni hukecha. So therefore, he cannot use this fixing of lamedeni hukecha. What does it have to do in such a case? So he says Baruch Atah Adonai mevarech hashanim. He continues Hashanim, he closes the beracha. And then what does he do then? And here, before we continue, remember what we said in the beginning, the most important part of this long text of the winter is the words Veten talu matar livracha. So now, again, in our case, a person continues to say Baruch Hashem l'chol ma'aseh dom le'ashatenu atzmcha ki ata atom v'tim v'tav Hashem Baruch Atah Hashem mevarech. He has to continue Hashanim, and before he starts Tekah b'shofar gadol, which is the next blessings, he says right there, in between, he has a gap. He finished Mevarech Hashanim, he didn't start Tekah. Right there he says, Beten talu matar livracha. Right, by doing that, he fulfills the obligation of Hachamim that we have to say in the tefillah during the winter time, Beten talu matar livracha. And then he continues Tekah b'shofar gadol le'harutenu, and that's it. He finishes tefillah, and that's it. So remember that gap. We're going to learn about it again. So what happens after he said Baruch Atah Hashem mevarech Hashanim, and he started one word Tekah. He said Tekah b'shofar, one word Tekah. Now we said the gap before he started the next blessings. And what is the idea? Before you start the next blessings, you still belong to the previous blessings. And therefore, even though you said Barekh Alenu, which is the text of the summer, and you finished the blessings, and you said Baruch Atah Hashem mevarech hashanim, before you started the next blessings, you still belong to the previous one. And therefore, if you say Veten talu matar livracha in that gap, it's being added on to Barekh Alenu, and it's as if you said the right text. And therefore you can continue Tekah. But the moment you said the word Tekah, that's it. You started the next paragraph and you have to continue. Tekah b'shofar. So what is his takana? So now I would simply think, so let him go back to Barekh Alenu. But Hachamim say no. You still have takana in Shema, Shema kolenu, Hashem Elokenu, v'kabel tfilatenu b'ratzon. So in Shema kolenu, right before you jump now to blessings, should be blessings number 16. It's Shema kolenu Shem Elokenu hus v'rachem alenu v'kabel b'rachem b'ratzon tfilatenu. Right there, look at the end before it says Baruch Atah Hashem shomea tefillah. It says Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh Baruch Atah Hashem shomea tefillah. So before Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh, right there you can add any requests that you want. Parnasa, health, shidduch, children. This is, Hacham Ovadia calls it the central bus station. This is the central of tefillah. Any blessings that you want to add in there, you can. Of course, it's better to add refuah, health, in the blessing of refuah. But if a person didn't do it, you can do it in Shema Alenu, to pray from your heart to Hashem, and then you continue. Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh. People do it on a daily basis. Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh. So right there, this is the spot that you will add v'ten talu matar livracha. So if you want the words exactly, I will open the book right here, and it says ומלפניך כי אלה שומע תפילת תחנונים מטה ומלפניך מלכינו ורקם אל תשיבנו חוננו ועננו שמע תפילתנו. And then these are the words between שמע תפילתנו, say ושמע תפילתנו ותן טל ומטר לברכה כי אתה שומע תפילת כל פה, and you continue ברוך אתה השם שומע תפילה. And there you fixed the problem. No need to go back to Barekh Alenu. Now what happens if a person said Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh and continue the blessings of Shema Kolenu also, and he says Baruch ata, again the same halakha like we said in Mevarech Hashanim, Baruch ata, and he remembered, go back, say V'ten talu matar livracha Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh, you go back one sentence, Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh, V'ten talu matar livracha Ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh, Baruch ata Hashem shomea tefila, and you continue. What if a person said Baruch ata Hashem and then he remembered Baruch ata Hashem, then he said Hashem's name? What do we use? We use the pasuk of Lamedeni Hukecha. So he said Baruch ata Hashem Lamedeni Hukecha. He finished it as a pasuk. Then he goes back a little bit, just one sentence as we said. V'ten talu matar livracha ki ata shomea tefilat kol peh Baruch ata Hashem shomea tefila, and it continues. What if a person says Baruch ata Hashem shomea? Now we said that's it. There is no pasuk that says Baruch ata Adonai shomea lamedeni hukecha. So he doesn't have that takana. He doesn't have that fixing. He cannot use this trick anymore. So what does he do? What we learned also earlier. Baruch ata Hashem shomea. He has to finish tefillah. He has to finish that beracha at the end before he starts retzeh. Before he starts the next blessings, he has a gap, and that gap can be used to add right there. V'ten talu matar livracha. Again, what is the concept? Before you start the next blessings, while you are in the gap, you still belong to the previous blessings. So therefore, even if he forgot Baruch ata Hashem shomea tefila, v'ten talu matar livracha, and he continues retzeh. What if a person said one word, he forgot also that, and he said retzeh? The moment he said retzeh, that's it. He doesn't belong to Shema Kolenu anymore. The moment he said the word retzeh, he has to go back to where? Beracha again, number 9, Barekh Alenu. So therefore, that will make him repeat another about 7 berachot again. Barekh Alenu, Tekha b'shofar gadol, Melech Harutenu, Hashiv Shoftenu, and then he continues the tefillah. And that rules applies from retzeh, from the moment he said the word retzeh, until the very end of tefillah, right before Oseh Shalom. There is a sentence that we say it twice. We say it before Elohai Netzor, and we say it, if you have the Siddur open right at the end, you'll see a sentence, Yiyu leratzon imrefi ve'ayon libi lefanecha Hashem tzuri ve'go'ali. This is the word that we'll work on, ve'go'ali. We say it twice. We say it before, right after we finish Mevarech et Amo Yisrael b'Shalom, Amen. That's the last blessing of the tefillah. Yiyu leratzon imrefi, and then ve'go'ali. We say Elohai Netzor, and then we say again Yiyu leratzon imrefi ve'ayon libi lefanecha Hashem tzuri ve'go'ali. This is called the second Yiyu. Remember that. The second Yiyu leratzon imrefi. And that's how the halakha, you open a book, you see the second Yiyu leratzon imrefi. That is the one right before Oseh Shalom, not the one before Elohai Netzor. So now we said that the moment he said the word retzeh Hashem Elokeinu b'Amcha Yisrael, he continued Modim, he continued Sim Shalom. He remembered in the middle of Sim Shalom again, he goes back to Barekh Alenu. He said Yiyu leratzon imrefi, the first one, again he remembered, he goes back to Barekh Alenu. He said Elohai Netzor, and he says Yiyu leratzon imrefi, the second one. Ve'egyon libi lefanecha Hashem, he still goes back to Barekh Alenu. Tzuri, he goes back to Barekh Alenu. The moment he said Vego'ali, he finished that last word before Oseh Shalom, that's it. He has to go back to beginning of Tefillah. Hashem sefatai tiftah ufi agiti latecha baruch atah. Pray all over again. So that word is the crucial word. That word is the final word of the Tefillah, and that is a sign that he finished his prayer and he can no longer go to Barekh Alenu. He has to start back from Hashem sefatai tiftah. And just to make it clear, Vego'a, he still goes back to Barekh Alenu. Li, the moment he said the last syllable of the Tefillah, he goes back to Hashem sefatai tiftah, even though he didn't do Oseh Shalom yet. He didn't move his legs. He just remembered Hashem sefatai tiftah all over again. That is, of course, it's not good. It's Hashem's name so many times in vain, and it's not a good sign at all. It shouldn't happen. In order to avoid that happening, we shall again pray from the Siddur, concentrate, and there is another takana, there is another way, another idea, brilliant idea that we'll share right now. So now we're about to speak about, so now we finished what if a person forgot to say. So we know exactly now all the 8 stops of when he forgot, from the first, forgetting in the very beginning, all the way to finishing the tefillah. Now, what if a person has a doubt? So now, the rule says, as we can all relate and understand, if it's in the beginning of the change, of the shift, so you probably still said whatever you used to say, for over 6 months, especially outside of Israel, for a few months, even if it's the other way around, but especially now, for 8 months, 8.5 months, 9 months, we're saying Barekh Alenu. So it takes some time until a person gets used to say Barekh Alenu. So therefore, we assume that within how long? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Hachamim tell us 30 days. 30 days is the time that takes a person to get used to switch from Barekh Alenu to Barekh Alenu. So within 30 days, you don't remember? Sorry, we assume that you said whatever you're used to say all these months, and therefore you don't remember. Go back. And that on all the laws that we learned, it's not only if you finish the tefillah, you have to go back also if you remembered in the middle of tefillah. So if you remembered after, for example, in laminim v'lamalshinim, which is in between, right in the middle, in Shema Kolenu, he has to say v'ten talumata livracha, right? Because he has a doubt. And if you're finished the tefillah, so all the laws, basically all the 8 stops apply to a person also that has a doubt, if he said that, if he said Barekh Alenu or not. Now, to remember, it's a good minhag, it's a good habit to, at least in the beginning, the first days, because sometimes a person does say Barekh Alenu, he doesn't remember. He says, I have a feeling I said that, but I can't remember. So now he has a problem because his heart is with, yes, I did say Barekh Alenu. His brain is where? In the halakha. I know the halakha obligates me because I don't remember for sure. The halakha obligates me to repeat all over the tefillah again, and he feels bad. So there are a few things to do about it. First of all, when you get to Barekh Alenu, that's the easiest, say it a little loud. I'm going to say a silly thing, but it does help. When you lock the car and you hear the noise, then you don't have a doubt. If you have, sometimes you could set it that you lock the car without a noise. It happens to me personally, I don't know about you, but it happens to me that I get away from the car and I don't remember. Did I lock it or I didn't lock it? But when there is a noise, I always remember. It's brilliant. And interestingly enough, when I open my car, it doesn't make a noise. When I lock it, it does make a noise. I don't know if they came up with this idea that people, in order to remember, they need a noise. But nevertheless, for us, the moment we say Barekh Alenu, we say it a little loud, we are not going to have any doubt about that tefillah. But let's say in a scenario that a person didn't say it loud, there is another a beautiful thing, a beautiful idea for a person to do is, so let's go back, let's analyze again. So we said that whatever a person is used to saying, that's what comes out of his mouth. And therefore we assume that he said whatever he's used to all these months. Oh, you don't remember? Go back. The halakha says So it says 30 days, right? How many tefillot people pray in 30 days? 3 times a day. 30 for 30 days, so it's 3 times 30, so 90 times. 90 tefillot. 90 tefillot, he says, Barekh Alenu, Barekh Yisrael, Barekh Alenu, and that's what is getting him used to the switch from Barekhenu to Barekh Alenu. So the halakha tells you that if you are the first day you go, what is the problem? That a person says, he doesn't think much. He says Baruch Atah Hashem Rofeh Ola'amu Yisrael, Barekhenu Hashem Elokeinu, and he says the text of the summer without even thinking. He just goes, his lips are working and his mind is elsewhere. So this is the problem. That's what actually happens. So how do we avoid it? We are telling a person, start before, like on the first day, say Rofeh Ola'amu. It's just like that. You walk in your living room, you walk on the street, you walk to shul. You say Rofeh Ola'amu Yisrael, Barekh Alenu. 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 90 times. So then when you get to the Bet Knesset and you standing praying and you say Baruch Atah Hashem Rofeh Ola'amu Yisrael and your brain is elsewhere, what is your tongue used to saying? Baruch Atah Hashem Rofeh Ola'amu Yisrael, Barekh Alenu. So now, oops, I don't remember if I said, let's say I finished the tefillah, for example. I don't remember if I said Barekhenu or Barekh Alenu. So what did we say? All these months you were used to say something. How long does it take? 30 days. And what is the concept of the 30 days? Is because you say it 90 times. The moment you say Rofeh Ola'amu Yisrael, Barekh Alenu 90 times, that's it. You're out of the doubt. So that is to say that a person that does it never has a doubt. Because never repeats the tefillah if he has a doubt. If he knows for sure he didn't say, for sure, of course he has to repeat the tefillah. He remembers himself saying Barekhenu. But if he doesn't know, since he did that, he doesn't repeat the tefillah. And Chacham Ovadia, Pesach, his son says that every Pesach we change the first Yom Tov. We say the Tikkun Atal, the first Yom Tov, right? Pesach is the beginning, is the spring. So the beginning of the summer. So he said that he would go up after Musaf. We do Tikkun Atal, Musaf, then we finish Tefillah. And he says, while everyone were waiting, preparing for the Kiddush, Chacham Ovadia used to go out to the balcony and say to himself, and that is in the second Tikkun Atal is about Mashiv Aruach Murid Geshem or Murid Atal. In the second Beracha of Shemoneh Esrei, he would tell himself, Mechayem etim atar Rav Lehoshia Murid Atal, Mechayem etim atar Rav Lehoshia Murid Atal, Mechayem etim atar Rav Lehoshia Murid Atal, 90 times, and then he is out of the doubt. So we see that just to avoid this doubt, there is a good trick. Do it as soon as possible, even now. If you have time, do it 90 times. And some say, let me just add that some say, no, it's not enough 90 times because we said 30 days. 30 days usually has 4 Shabbats inside. And Shabbats has Musaf. So it's not really 90 tefillot. It's 94 tefillot because on Shabbat we have an extra tefillah. So it's every day is 3 tefillot. Shabbat is 4 tefillot. How many Shabbat we have? We have 4 in 30 days. And therefore, it's like at least 94 times. So it's better to say it 100, 101, like Michael. They love this number. 101, and then you are out of the doubt. I hope you enjoyed this class. This is very practical. And this what's called studying Torah. To me, personally, brings a lot of joy. I hope you enjoy it too. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm here for you, and I wish you all a great day.